listen-only mode.
Good morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel Elconin. Welcome to Wednesday's edition of Premarket Info.
Market rallying here a little bit, Joel. We're up a buck. This range keeps getting tighter and tighter and tighter. We now only have a 3.75 overnight range. Just over 3.5 points, 1701.75 the high, 1698 the low. Obviously very, very tight here ahead of the Fed.
Right, the overnight high 0175, all-time high 1703.75. We're looking on the downside. We have the close at 99 and a quarter, overnight low 98. But Dennis, we were talking about this, before we got on the show. And is this like just the weirdest market? I mean, it will not go down. It's just incredible. You have a move up in the middle of the day, and then it just sits there, and it's like everyone's afraid to be short this market.
Yeah, and the people who are short this market continue to, every time you get a little bit of a pullback, they're continuing to buy those pullbacks and obviously get me out, get me out. And also you've got this, like, I talk to people on the street sometimes, just random, regular people, and the majority of people I talk to aren't invested in stocks, or they've pulled out of stocks. It's like, oh, I don't even touch the stock market after the financial crisis, or I don't even, my stocks, I sold. I don't even want back in that market, or I'm underinvested, and that's the biggest problem, is that the majority of your regular folk are actually underinvested in this market, and they've sold all their stock back in the financial crisis at the lows here, and now every time we get a pullback, people are interested. They're starting to get interested here again, obviously, as we make new highs. So you've got people talking. It's like, oh, we're at new highs. I need to get in the stocks. So every time you get a little bit of a pullback, people are buying it. People are buying the pullback. So as much as they were scared, to be in the market 4 or 5 years ago, now they're scared that they're out of the market, and they're using every pullback as a buying opportunity. Uh-oh. We got you still there, Joel?
Yep,
Oh.
I'm here.
Oh, you were sleeping.
I'm here. Yep. No, I just don't know what to say to that. I mean, this has just been an incredible move. The market continues to go higher. The fundamentals haven't changed. The Syria thing, put a little spook into the market, but we basically are back at the level that we opened at on Monday. We opened up higher overnight. It was the Syria news and Summers resigning, so right back on another handle here at 1700.
Like me, I look at the chart of gold here. You got it on the screen, and here's a tell-all too. People were selling stocks and buying gold. Get me in gold. I need to be in something safe. That has not been the trade. That has been exactly not the trade. Obviously, in the last 2 to 3 years, gold topping out over $1,900 there just a couple of years ago. Now we're at $1,300. So not only are these people who are underinvested in the market getting whipsawed or getting hit here by not being invested in the market, they probably, a lot of them, put their money in gold, and so they're actually losing money here again. The little guy seems like they're always wrong, so if you can figure out which side the little guy is on and fade that way, that's probably going to be a moneymaker for you in the long run.
Yeah, looking at gold just here on the daily, had a quiet day of consolidation yesterday. Multiple lows around 1304. Took that down overnight, down to 1291.50. But you're getting your rebound $5 from the high here. So the high coincides with the close there, so that 1310.30 level, along with the close at 1309.40. That will be your resistance for the remainder of the day.
Yeah, you were also talking about crude here this morning, Joel, saying that there could be a potential double bottom here. We obviously have pulled back pretty significantly in crude in the last 3 or 4 trading sessions. What are you looking at there on the charts that makes you think there could be a double bottom?
Well, yesterday's hard sell-off took it down to 104.34, 104.40 level. Last night on the 6 p.m. open, you went down, you sniffed that level, missed it by 20 cents, and then you got a nice rally up to 105.72. You are pulling back now here, 20 cents from unchanged, but you could get a little reversal here. I've noticed in the past here, with the crude market that it will have a prolonged move, 3, 4, $5, and many times that move is turned around by a double top or a double bottom.
You want to talk about reversals? Bring up the chart of Facebook. We had two reversal days in a row here, basically. I don't know if you could call the day before a reversal, but you can definitely call yesterday a reversal. So we were drifting down. We talked about the 45 level 2 days ago. It sold off massively from that level. Got down all the way to 42.43. Well, Facebook basically did put in a double bottom because
Exactly.
exactly that yesterday's low exactly 42.43, and people were like, "Ah, double bottom, I'm buying this thing," and they kept buying it all day. They were actually buying it a little bit here this morning as well. It's up another 7 cents at 45.14, but that was a short-lived pullback for Facebook. There you go. Retail guy says, "Oh, Facebook pullback, get me in."
Right, 42.43 hit that early in the session and just turned around on the dime. Got up, posted the all-time high close there, 45.07, eclipsing the 45.04 high that you had on November 11th. Just be keeping an eye on the resistance here. 45.44 was yesterday's high, all-time high, 45.62. So let's call that 45.50 level. The bogey there for this morning. But just, I mean, how could the, the value of the the fundamentals change that much, within a day? I mean, probably what you had is people just piling in on the short side. Finally
Yep,
showed
they
some
squeeze them
weakness.
all.
Yep, and then boom, it hits that double bottom. Pattern recognition algos pick it up and just roast people.
Yeah, they do. They roast people, and they don't like if even if you look at the intraday chart. I don't know if you can get right down to the specifics there, but
Sure.
there wasn't much of a pullback intraday either. You had a little bit. You ran from 42.43 basically up to 43.50 right off the hop, roasting anyone that was trying to short it. It pulled back 20, 30 cents tops, and then ran another $1.50 with very little pullbacks in there too. That is straight up. That is the type of chart that's telling me there is people caught short because the shorts, the pros always look for little pullbacks, to cover. If they're on the wrong side, they wait for the little pullback to cover. You don't get that pullback, and it squeezes the hell out of them. And there wasn't that many pullbacks in that yesterday, which tells me some people still might be caught short here of Facebook. So as much as it wasn't looking good on the charts just 2 days ago, all of a sudden it starts to look good here again. Fundamentally speaking, I have no idea. Fundamentals here, this is the market that you don't even need to know fundamentals in this market right now. You just need to trade the technicals. You need to go with the momentum. It's the momentum market. If you're analyzing by fundamentals, you're probably banging your head against the wall because valuations don't make sense on anything. But we're not in that valuation type of market. We're in a momentum market. And if you can
Yeah, just
identify what has momentum, you're going to make some money.
just to identify further significance, that 42.43 level. We had a low on September 6th at 42.40 as well. So the technicians were out in full force yesterday in Facebook.
If you want to talk about stuff that doesn't even make sense on fundamentals, and maybe they're trying to justify, but look at the Adobe report, ADBE. Adobe, here they are. They miss on the bottom line, 32 cents versus 34 cents. They miss on the top line, 995 million versus 1.01 million. They guide Q4 lower. So they basically said everything wrong. You can see the news algo read that report, sold it down to 45.66. Wrong. It might have missed on the top. It might have missed on the bottom. It might be going lower. But this stock is going higher. Okay, so cloud subscriptions surged. So maybe that is a catalyst. Maybe that is the reason. They are trying to, reinvent their business here a little bit, moving into obviously looking in the cloud. So, okay, maybe that's a good reason to buy it. But regardless, sometimes these reports don't even matter. It's just a matter of which way the momentum is taking the stock and which way they can punish the maximum amount of people. And Adobe here is flying high here last night and continuing to make new highs here this morning despite not that great of a report.
Yeah, spike action. We won't even pay attention to that low that it made.
Well, that's your news algo. That's news
Yeah.
algo, man. Is he still in business? There's somebody running a bad one there because wow, you can tell I'm wound up here today. But $48, boom. Okay, oh, that's a bad report. The news algo comes out and smash down $2.50, and he's wrong immediately and under significant pressure. So whoever is running that news algo is not right on that one. Wow. I'd like to short that news algos. It's crazy.
The opposite news algo.
Yeah, the opposite news algo.
51.40 was the spike high before you made that crazy low. But the more significant number, 51.20. Dennis, we hit that just in the 8 o'clock hour. I'll be keeping an eye on that. Uh, Lowest we've traded is 50.40, so I'll be looking at that range 50.40 to 51.20. See if you get a continuation of this move. Looking longer term here, Adobe is trading at levels we have not seen in quite a while, Dennis. I'm not sure if this is maybe go to a monthly here
You
to
got to
get
go a
a
long ways
perspective.
back. I'm back to
Yeah,
'06 and I haven't seen these levels, so you might up
yeah,
to
back in. I
'03.
mean, this is an all-time high
Unless
for
it hit it
Adobe.
back in the
So
tech bubble back in the year 2000. We're only looking back 10 years here, so maybe we know we might have been higher. A lot of stocks were higher during the tech bubble 3 years earlier than that, but this is
now
a decade high, anyways.
48.50 is basically where we're breaking out from here for an all-time high. So 50.60 support, and then I look at the 48.50 level.
And if you want to talk about another one, here's FedEx. They reported this morning. This wasn't that great of a report either, but they're buying them. It's got momentum. FedEx has had momentum here for the last few years, but especially it's had momentum really in the last few months. It was down at 95 bucks in mid-June. It's consolidated, had a great consolidation period between 107 and 110 here for the last month, and now it's breaking out here. The report is $1.53 versus $1.52, so they beat on the bottom line. Came in line on the top line, 11 billion versus 11 billion. So it's nothing that much excited to get excited about in this report, but people are buying them. It's up on 78,000 shares, trading the 114 handle.
Right, 114.38 was the high. Have not really peeled back much from that at all. That's eclipsing the former all-time high at 113.34. So if you're looking at any kind of short or looking to buy this thing off the open, that former high of 113.34 should provide minor support. Also, all the traders that sold this thing at 111.48 and 111.50 over the last two sessions, double top. Sure, we'll have some bids out there in order to cover some shorts.
UPS getting a little sympathy move here with the FedEx earnings as well. It's trading up 90 cents here, trading at 90.80 right now. Closed at 89.89. But if you look at this, really, UPS FedEx, they used to be a really tight pair, and it's not that much. FedEx has really taken off, and UPS has kind of just been hanging out in this whole 85 to 89 level for the better part of the last 6 months, where FedEx has been moving higher. So your pair traders getting squeezed there a little bit on something like this. But this morning, obviously, they're buying UPS up here again in sympathy.
Yeah, this thing got under 85 bucks at end of August. Trades up to 90.20 and 90.41's been the high of the move. 90.99 high in the pre-market, up a buck 10. I'm not sure if you have some size kicking around at the $91
Little
level,
bit.
but 91, nice level here. Above that, the recent high of the move got a little carried away, got up to recent all-time high close here, 91.45. High of the recent move, 91.78.
While we're doing the earnings, just talk about General Mills to GIS because they reported here as well. 70 cents versus 70 cents. The revenue top line 4.37 billion versus 4.3 billion. So a decent report here for General Mills, and it's getting a 50-cent pop here this morning as well.
Oh, look at this $50 level here, Dennis.
Yeah, lots
Is
of
that
hanging out there. Double top.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
trying to break out. We're getting the kind of we had a huge gap down basically from 52 to 50 where we went through that area very, very quickly. We're trying to get up here in the pre-market into that area, so we'll have to see if we can actually hold and open up there. And obviously, there's not a lot of reference points in there, but this is a stock that has a lower beta. I don't think you're going to see it fly up a dollar on or a dollar and a half on this. So I'll be interested to see if it can continue to move higher here.
Hey
Right.
guys, got some really weak housing data here. Housing starts for the month of August coming in at 891,000. Economists were looking for 917,000. That is up just 0.9%. Economists were looking for a 2.3% rise. Building permits also weaker than expected at 918,000. Economists were looking for a reading of 950,000. That was down 3.8% month over month.
Well, we got a 1 point pullback there, Joel. You better buy it. You better buy this
I better get
pullback.
my I better get my bids in here.
Everybody comes. That thing will be up by probably the time that we open up. But we're only up a quarter of a point now, so actually we pulled back about 3 points from the highs, about half a buck or buck on that number there. So muted action really here. But let's go back to the General Mills. We were just talking about that
Yeah,
whole
I was
50 to
just looking at
52.
this chart before Brett. broke in with that exciting news. Double top 50.07, and then you almost had a like identical range days, 2 days in a row. 50.07 was the high on a Monday and Tuesday, and then two lows, 49.66, 49.70. Matching bottoms, and then pretty much matching closes too here. But if this thing can hold this $50 level, you don't have a lot of real estate to look at, in the rest of the 50 handle. But I'll be looking at to see if it's any kind of pullback. If it could hold 50, if it doesn't, I'd be looking to go down, test those lows at 49.66 to 49.70.
We've got a few downgrades here, Joel, on some of your top S&P components, starting with Procter and Gamble. They are getting downgraded at Barclays here today, and Procter Gamble is taking it pretty hard, actually. Lower beta stock, but getting beat up on this downgrade. It's down 80 cents here on the pre-market right now, trading at 79 bucks, close to 79.83. So PG had a little gap to fill there, and it's basically trying to fill the entire thing here while filling part of it here this morning. Actually, I think it did fill the whole thing there, that gap, because it gapped up from 79.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It really is. Ran in a lot of trouble last 2 days, 80.21, 80 and a quarter. So that's by the wayside here. We're even smashing through yesterday's low, which was 69.74.
79.
So we'll have to keep an eye. I mean, if you do any kind of rally here, it may get back up to yesterday's low. That would be a good resistance. Coming back, it's kind of hard to figure out good support in this thing because you had that flash crash day that took it.
Yeah, you got to almost
way
ignore
down.
that on the charts. Like
Yeah,
that's
I
why
do.
sometimes technicals, if you know kind of what's happening, you got to kind of just eliminate prints. Like that was that flash crash day back when somebody came in with a huge market sell order on the NYSE and knocked the stock down to 73.61. It was immediately back at 77.5. So you got to kind of just ignore that little big down spike on the chart. It existed. Some institution decided to throw away about $1 million probably on that print. But for the most part, that really isn't a factor. I don't think in my technical analysis.
Less than 10,000 shares are traded to take the stock down, 80 cents. So it's not like your million share, kind of trading that's going on. So you may get a little pop here off the open. The parameters from the pre-market to follow. 79 just sitting on the low there and not really getting any kind of a bounce. On the dailies, I like to look at the 3-day low, 78.41. That's another 60 cents away from here. And then 78.17, another couple levels to keep an eye on. But, you had to rally and then one downgrade by Barclays, and it's erasing several days' worth of gains. Kind of hard to believe.
And the cat not on the prowl here this morning, getting downgraded at Baird, and it is trading down 60 cents here too at 86.45. Closed at 87.07. So Caterpillar, not looking that great here for the bulls this morning.
Yeah, it's kind of quiet here, just sitting at 86.45. Might be offered there, and just no bounce at all. Taking a look at the dailies. You had a low at 86.38 on Friday, so that's your initial level of support. Below that, you have this area where you had to gap up 86.18. So if you're still trying to hold on to a long on this thing, that move between 86 and 84 looks kind of scary to me.
Clorox getting downgraded at Barclays too, and it's very light volume here this morning. It's only traded 600 shares. But it is trading. It is offered down at 83.95, and it's only trading 100 shares there, and it's offered with 700 shares there, so nobody's sniffing him. Best bid's down at 83.61, so it does look like Clorox is probably going to open in the 83 handle.
Yeah, 83.60. That was low on your September 12th, so someone's trying to bid it up there. Below the 83.60 level, next major support level would be 83.02. If you do go back into rally mode here, 84.26 was yesterday's low. So if you're looking to, fill the gap there, 84.26 would be your resistance point.
Let's go back into some of these top S&P components here. Start with Apple, because Apple obviously had a big reversal day yesterday too, and it's building on that this morning. I know analyst estimates were up to Pacific Crest. They were raised, and the stock actually is building lots of momentum here for all of a sudden for Apple, because it kind of put in similar to the Facebook, basically put in a double bottom there. You look at the 447.20 422, the low 2 days ago, and then 447.50. So that's, again, you were saying the pattern recognition algo. Well, those do exist, and maybe they were recognizing that that's a potential double bottom, which would be a bullish sign, and they are pumping Apple up here this morning again.
Right, and also we were talking about the 50% retracement of the 385 to 513 move there, and I told myself that I was absolutely going to buy calls when I got to 450, and
You didn't.
I'm still haven't bottom yet. So it was there. It had a trade down to 440, 440 in the pre-market. So was looking at the 445 level. You are getting a pop in the pre-market, just kind of making a high and just hanging here at 460.59. We do have some relevant numbers to look at in Apple. 461.61 was Monday's high when the market was ripping. So there's your resistance point from this 460.70, 461.61. And then if you can clear that level, you got a gap to fill to Friday's low at 464.70.
And then Microsoft, you were talking about this 3350 level having some significance. I'm looking at that chart too, and it looks like obviously the last couple days we're topping on the 3350 area. But if you look back there just before the big gap down day, multiple highs in the 3350 area too. So it looks like this whole 3350 area is providing some pretty good resistance for the stock, and it obviously turned and reversed kind of off of that level there yesterday. So as much as we saw the double bottoms in Facebook and Apple, you kind of saw a quick double top there in the Microsoft.
Right, it spiked way high in the pre-market, way over
Well,
$34.
that's just dumb.
Yeah, that was
That was
34.49.
yeah, because yesterday they were talking, what is it, dividend raise or something? I forget
Yeah,
what the news.
dividend raise and stock buyback. Someone thought they were actually going to go buy the $40
That
billion.
that was short lived.
Right, right. In the pre-market here. But the 3350 area that we took out yesterday, that was the highs. The previous day 3350, and then you go back, you had some highs in that area also going back a month or so ago. So that's a huge level. Also coming on the downside for Microsoft, that 3250 level. We did have three lows in that area, 3259 down to 3251. So that's your major support. So maybe it's just going to grind for a while between 32.5 and 33.5.
Will the Tesla consolidation ever end? Here has been one of your most volatile stocks of the year, but in the last 3 or 4 weeks, man, this thing cannot get out of the 160s.
16 out of the last 17 closes in the 160 handle. It snuck over 170 on Monday, kind of got back down yesterday. Just trading here. I mean, you look back, you did have a period of consolidation like this, I believe, back in June, and we all know what happened after that. So could wind it up. Can't stay between 160 and 170 forever. Once I believe 170 and change was your high on Monday. 170.85, the all-time high 173.60, and until this thing takes out the 160 level and closes below there, the Tesla bulls are still in control.
And the bulls are still in control in the overall market too. Up a buck here, Joel. The pullback was short-lived. We got down to flat, and obviously now we're up $1 again. And I guess the grind north continues until we hear what the Fed has to say this afternoon. 16.99 is where we're sitting at right now.
Yeah, up a buck. The close at 16.99 and a quarter. The overnight low 16.98. That'll be the levels we'll be keeping an eye on. The all-time high 1703.75.
That's our show for today, guys. Have a great day. Good luck with the Fed. Back at you to analyze all that tomorrow.